to Let's Get Real. Today is Thursday, February 24th. And you know what? Let's get real. How many people, and it's only 1 o'clock, have maybe been irritated by a coworker, somebody that is even next to you at the stoplight, maybe somebody irritated you at the grocery store or the Costco parking lot? This actually is a lot deeper than that. But honestly, let's get real with yourself. All I know is I think a couple of times I've been irritated with things. And so this is why I've asked for Jennifer Edwards Robinson to come back on the Let's Get Real with Jill show, because she actually was on the show a year ago getting ready for this month to release her Bridge the Gap book. And last year at this time, it was like, oh my gosh, a year away. And it's not easy to write a book. It's not easy to publish a book. So we're going to hear from her today a little bit about that, but we're going to get into the book regarding Bridge the Gap, connecting with people perhaps that you don't like, that you might be struggling with. We're going to have that discussion, and she's going to provide you techniques today because you may need to use those tools and techniques. So welcome, Jennifer Edwards Robinson. Thank you so much. I just always say your name, the whole thing.
Well, thanks for having us, having me, and for all the contribution you make. I know how passionate you are about this show and making a contribution. And so just blessings to you. And I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you. And this is a big month, February 2022, because you actually just released, and we've already got it on Amazon, Bridge the Gap. So tell me a little bit about it, because you were with Katie McCleary doing this. It's a team effort, collaboration. How did that start? Give us a little bit of a background of it, and then we're going to dive deep into the book.
Well, I'll just briefly say, Katie and I met in a women's circle where we got real. And what we really had a conversation all the time about was that while we come from very different walks of life, spiritually, politically, how we see the world, we realized that there was more that unified us than divided us, but we had to have conversations that were awkward, that were difficult. And we realized that we are passionate about bridging gaps where there's polarization, where there's division, and specifically in the workplace, because work is where we show up, most of us, to make a big contribution in the world. Right. So we wrote this book for that reason.
Okay, so was this was pre-2020 though, right? Or did it start then?
No, we've been writing for 2.5 years before we even knew there was a pandemic, before any of the social isolation and all of the different types of unrest that we've seen occur. We were passionate about helping people connect better, because nothing great in business can be done alone. It takes people by our side.
And hold on 1 second. Sorry.
No problem.
Try your cell phone.
No, I can see on the cell phone, but I'm not going to be able to copy or paste.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's okay. Okay, thank you. We were just confirming a couple of things because we're actually going to be putting your information on.
Thank you.
Anyway, so let's get back to this. So anyway, and just so you guys know, as we're talking with Jennifer today and Bridge the Gap, I'd like you to share your stories in the comment section about maybe something that you're facing today, whether it's at the workplace, whether there's a political divide, maybe there's some conflict in your family. And what we discussed today, some of the techniques and tools that you've learned. The first person that actually shares this and what technique they want to use, I will send you a Bridge the Gap book, because I promise it's going to be worth it. So the first person to do that at the end of this show, you're going to get a free book. So let's get back to that though. So what's interesting though is you probably, once 2020 hit, you probably had a few more chapters that you can add.
We did. And, writing a book is a process. It's a journey. And we probably went through over 50 editions of this book with a really, really critical set of feedback and focus type groups about what would work, what wouldn't work. So it was really humbling, actually, because you got to be committed to throwing it all away and trying again, where you're, with language. The concept stayed, but we had to keep getting it just right. So we wrote a book for the average day professional, the average professional. I mean, anybody wants to be a leader in their life, they can pick up this book and say, okay, how do I learn to show up optimally so I can engage with others and help them show up optimally?
And you know what? And Jennifer, you work also with Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
So
And you
don't
know what?
that.
Oh, yeah. It's everyday professional, but it's in big companies that we use this. And we were fortunate enough to be named by Inc. one of the 3 business books to read in 2022. So it does show that Inc. Recognizes, and Forbes as well, that we have a lot of content to deliver that will help us really collaborate, connect, and perform at better levels.
Okay. Wow. So let's kind of dig deep into the book right now. And well, you guys, so first of all, congratulations, because it just got released to the public on February 17th.
Yep, last
Or
week.
18th, 17th, February
Yeah.
17th. Okay, that was our mom's 85th birthday, was last week. So,
Oh,
wow, good
wonderful.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, good day.
So how is that going?
Wow, it's a lot. You'd think that writing the book and you'd be done, but now, as some of your people may have seen on social media, I'm not a great social media person. Let's get real. We have to, our ambition is to get as many views of this book as possible. And so it's a big LinkedIn strategy, truthfully, because that's where most business professionals get their resources. And so really trying to be a resource out there and sharing the content and being valuable.
Okay, because really what you're doing, just from what I've read in our conversations, is you're working with a lot of big companies, or not so big, I mean, just companies that have a workforce to get them to work together, collaborate, because there's so many mix of personalities, there's different political views. Even you have all the different generations. I mean, there's multiple, we live longer,
Yep.
kids start jobs quicker. So there's like a multitude of different generations that also get along.
Yeah, so well said. I mean, there are 4 or 5 generations working in the workplace, all with different ways that they see the world and want to lead, but all with the same intent. Let's kill it. Let's do great work. And so we talk a lot about, like, how do you have conversations? And Jill, it's whether they're, I know you have a lot of real estate professionals, and, there are a lot of different types of people you work with if you're a real estate professional. Prospects, clients, everyone in the industry. And the truth of the matter is this: everybody you get in front of might not be your preference.
Right.
How do you actually connect with them in a way that creates value, meaning, and respects them?
That's hard, because even and people have reputations too. And it's like, how do we show up from the beginning?
Right.
How are we going to show up from the beginning to avoid a lot of that conflict? And really, there's some people who have great reputations, not so good reputations, and I don't want to be that person that has the not so good reputation. And really, but even like in the workplace, that it's really a team effort. And I look at it as, and you tell me, is, we need to listen, and we need to maybe be quiet. And then really, are we really focusing on the goal of the company, or the goals of our job, the goals, or are we just letting our irritations come out?
Well, let me unpack that, because you have a lot of great ideas in there. Number one is, listening is actually an energy.
Yeah.
Listening is, I come in the room curious to know what you want, Jill, not what I want you to know about me. Curious to know what's true for you. What's your lived experience, Jill? Not what I want it to be, not to project on you. So the very first thing, you're absolutely right. The brand you build happens within seconds when you walk in the door. And I think the most important thing we can all remember is, are you spending enough time to pay attention to how you show up? Are you getting present enough to show up absolutely from the minute you walk in, because your brand and your positioning will be impacted.
Yeah, and it's interesting, even on a personal level of how you show up, because I had told you our dad passed away February 5th and was our mom's caregiver, and so our lives, this is what we've been doing. And it's been very challenging because my daily routine of working has like pretty much shut down until recently. But how I showed up yesterday at my mom's house with our family was not good. I mean, not in a bad way. Of course, like, I was irritated. I apologize, but I showed up so like, oh my gosh, Jill is gonna break. And I showed up, but the mornings, you know what they said? You, my girlfriend, have tomorrow off. Like, I'm like, yes, not from work, not from the gym, but I showed up really bad yesterday with our family, and they're like, oh, we're taking over, Mom, tomorrow. We got this. I'm like, okay.
Well, and Jill, one of the secrets is to ask for what you need. I mean, just let's use this example. How many of us keep exhausting ourselves, giving more than is in the tank? Where's self-care? So, I mean, I know you need to really be working with your mom. And I mean, how many else people out there are also taking on burdens of family? Tons.
Yeah.
And so make sure you realize that, when I get on an airplane, they say, put your oxygen mask on first and then help it up. So, I just encourage you and everybody listening that make sure you don't forget you.
Right.
Not in a selfish way, but like in just a true
completely.
Serve way.
Putting the mask on first, the oxygen mask, so you can help others. And I feel great today, and I'm super excited, and I know I'll be able to show up really well tomorrow or even tonight, actually. So let's go to, okay, so you have some great techniques that I wanted to talk about. Then the drama triangle, in whatever order you want to talk about these. And then the other one was having our own personal board of directors. And that's really kind of what I should be having. And I do, regarding this whole situation, but in life itself. But do you want to start with the techniques first, or how would you want to start?
Sure. Well, let's talk about it. It's really a 3 or 4 part system, the techniques fall into. And the first is how you show up matters. You have responsibility, because wherever you go, there you are, to get as present as you can and to be with somebody. And being with somebody and really being in connection with them means that it's not about the technology usually that is the hurdle, although that can be. Being with somebody is really the most important thing, is to really say, okay, I want to be with Jill, not the version of Jill I want, not to show up or show off, but I want to be with somebody. So I'm going to be as present in my body and in my heart and in my spirit that I can, to be of value, to be present with Jill. And there are a lot of techniques we can use to do that. And that's in chapter 3 or 4. But what comes after that is a technique that says, oh, to be present with somebody, I really need to listen. And so to be aware of the invisible pair of headphones you have on. So Jill, information comes in your ears and you make meaning of words. But I can say, it is raining. And that can, for you, if I say, hey, Jill, it is raining, what does it make you feel? What do you hear? Joy, disgust, or frustration, or like, what do you
I don't like the rain.
And I make meaning of it like, yes, I love the rain.
Yeah.
See, we all have a pair of headphones that we filter information with.
Some of those headphones are very judgmental.
Some of them are biased. Some of them are judgmental. Some of them are suspicious. And you're not even aware of it. You're not even conscious to it. Some of them are just kind of passive. And so we ask you in the book to get really clear about like, do you listen to your listening? It's a weird question, but ask yourself. If you're on this video right now, ask yourself, do you ever listen to how you listen? Do you pay attention and attentive to the filters and how you translate information? Or do you practice really clean listening? Like, I can tell you're a clean eater. You know what it means. You put the right fuel in your body to get the outcome you want. Hey, am I listening with enough curiosity and suspension of judgment that I can hear something I didn't know I didn't know?
Okay, that's a good exercise for everybody today. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Mhm.
And
Keep
then,
going.
yeah, and then as we talk about your listening, we talk a lot about what it means to build trust and how you show up, how you ask questions. And I'll share with you two really great tips I think that will really help all of us out there. Number one is when you engage in a conversation, ask questions that really seek to learn, not to look smart. Ask a question that sounds like this. Hey, Jill, tell me about how has it been caring for your mom? Tell me, Jill, how has it been having your sister in town? Tell me about your business right now. And
Okay,
just
like that kind of question. Okay.
and
Was
keep
that
asking.
the curiosity stage?
That's leading with curiosity. And let me tell you the one question that everybody thinks is curious that's not. So your sister walks in the room and says, Jill, why is there no more coffee? I thought you made a pot. Yeah. Why is a question that just triggers the brain and says, oh, stop. Yes. Polarizes the brain. It says fight or flight. It literally says, screw you. We need to
Right.
take that word out of our vocabulary. It is not a curious word, it's a judgment word.
Okay, that is so good. That is so good. Okay, everybody. I hope everybody. Okay, that's just so good. And the other word, in my personal opinion, is need. Oh, you need to do this, or you need. Oh.
You know what we call that, Jill? Quit
What?
shooting all over people.
Yeah.
Quit shoulding all over people. No one wants to
Yeah.
be shoulded on. They want to be could or would, but don't should.
So we need to be cautious of that why. So what? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's make it really real for everybody listening. So when you're out on a meeting a new client to list their house, or you're inquiring about a loan and you're trying to get to know someone, don't ask this question. Why are you moving? Why do you want to sell the house? Why are your finances like this? Ask this question. Hey, tell me about what has us sitting down here together. Tell me how I could deliver value as an agent to you. Tell me a little bit about what's important, what your values are, your goals are in the house sale. Open up the conversation instead of closing it down. And then here's another really great secret. Never ask this question. Hey, Jill, is there anything else you want to tell me?
Oh,
What did you hear when I said, hey, is there anything else I want to tell you? You want to tell
like
me?
I'm missing something to say, or there's not trust.
Well, it actually says if anything else, it's like, I'm kind of done with you right now. Anything else? But if I asked you this question, hey, Jill, what else is there that would be important for me to know? As opposed to, is there anything else I should know?
Yeah.
What else would be important to know? The whole brain changes.
Do you think like the whys and the needs, the why word and the need word um are more used with people that we know more versus a coworker we know less? And I don't know. That just came into my head to ask.
So I don't think I quite followed you. Say it again.
So I think it's easier to say, why did you not make coffee this morning? Or you need to do this with a friend or family member versus a new coworker. But then I think with a new coworker, you're just kind of learning that person and prejudging, and then you just fall all over them after you get to know them.
Well, let's go back to I do agree. I think we get a little bit more sloppy with people we're close to, which is kind of a disappointment.
Right?
More,
Yes.
more care and intention, because there's an old Jewish proverb and it says, "Words build worlds."
That's good. That's good. Mhm.
Words build worlds. How
Yeah.
important is it that we use words that are responsible? And man, I have used so many irresponsible words. And in fact, my husband and I have an agreement that if we are triggered and frustrated, we will say to each other, hey, my words aren't responsible right now. I need to take a break.
Ooh, that's good. Because if you need to take a break, that's even hard to say.
Yeah, but I'll say, hey, I want to talk this through, but my words aren't responsible right now. Because words build worlds. I've learned enough by saying something the wrong way and out of rashness or hurt or anger.
And a lot of those emotions, really, it's a lot of it stems from the heart and shows your not necessarily the full character, but as a part of a character from that situation. So, and we learn from it and we want to change it. I mean, I hope most people do and be aware so that we could show up gracefully. We can still be ourselves, of course, we're human, but to really acknowledge and know, I mean, just like that exercise you and your husband have. I
It's a
mean,
practice.
that's really good.
It's a practice. And Jill, I can see just that you show up curious, and in all your shows I've watched 7 or 8 of them. And yeah, no, absolutely. And I noticed that everyone wants to be cared for. Everyone wants to be seen and acknowledged and understood. It's a human condition. So when you're in a conversation with somebody you know or you don't know, don't forget this important piece. Their emotional needs are looking to be met.
That's a good, and we never know sometimes where that person is in that stage. We really don't. I mean, we don't know what's going on in the background but you're right. Everybody wants to be cared for. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to show that that they really are a person. There is a great book. It's the Book of Joy with the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Tutu. Have you heard that one?
I don't have it yet. Is it worth getting?
It is. It
I will
is. It's changed my life. And that was from last year. I read it and I'm reading it again. But that's all we just all want love to be and to be cared for and respected. And I think that's where your book comes in with bridging the gap. Stop talking, start listening. You have some great techniques. And then do you want to go, are there any other techniques that you wanted to share, or do you want to talk about
I think that's good. I think we've covered a lot. I think we've covered a lot. And the reality is that we can summarize it in one thing.
Okay.
Be aware of how you show up. Before you walk in a room, how am I showing up? What's my intention to show up?
Yeah. That's a big one. Every day. And actually
every meeting, Jill. Not even day. Like I have a hard stop at 1:30.
Yeah.
I have a very I just want to say, like, I have a very different way I have to show up in a minute. That's still me. Like, how you show up in every different engagement matters.
Right.
People listening, I mean, you meet different people who need different versions of the beautiful you are. Be aware of what that is. Show up in that way.
And with our situation now, how am I going to show up with my mom? It's been a struggle. I mean, I love her dearly. It's just hard all of a sudden. How am I going to show up for my family so that they don't feel like, oh my gosh, Jill's going to lose it? And, so that's a situation. And then when I go to a client's house, I could leave the house with my family and be like, and then I go to a client's house and I show up going, oh, let's all sing Kumbaya and have Girl Scout cookies together.
It's just important to realize whose brain am I in front of? Because, the most responsible thing I can do is bring to the brain in front of me what they need.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I do it well all the time. I don't. Just because I teach this stuff doesn't mean I don't fail. We all will fail. It's a journey. It's a practice. It's not a destination. It's a practice.
A fail is an opportunity.
For sure.
Fail is an opportunity for growth. And I really liked your part about the board of directors. And I look at that as when I read that about the board of directors, I think of who's in my tribe. who are my friends, who are my accountability partners, who's my coach. You want to touch on that at all?
Yes, the board of directors is just a formalizing of a tribe. And I think it's a little bit, we call it into a more intentional set of relationships where I literally reach out and say, here is what I need from you. Let's collaborate together. And I need you to be a cheerleader for me. I need you to be a mentor for me. I need you to be a truth speaker. I'm asking you to do that so that when I call and I say, hey, Jill, I need you to show up for me right now. You say, okay, I'm going to put on that hat. And then I'm in a relationship with something outside of myself and I'm not in a codependent relationship with it. I'm wondering really like, okay, speak truth to me, encourage me. So I encourage everybody who's watching this, go find a set of people to really hold you capable. I think that's even better than accountable. Capable to that which you haven't yet achieved.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that. I mean, it really made me think about who those people are in my life and what pieces might be missing that that I can bring in because I'm not asking.
No, no.
Okay,
So
so
reach out. Yeah, absolutely. So
go
reach
ahead.
out. Well, my one thing is just remember that every time you make a reach out to somebody, before you do it, think, hey, how does their brain want to be engaged with? Bubbly or serious?
Yeah.
Flowery or structured? Think, because everybody, the way you and I communicate doesn't work for everybody. Change how you show up for the other person.
Right. Yeah, that's a good. And that's like even like in basic communications too, when you're mirroring somebody's personality. So an engineer who's super, methodical and all about the numbers and serious, and I've had them as my clients, they don't want me to be like tone it down.
Calm her down, calm her down. Yeah.
Okay, and we just have a couple of more minutes left. I was cracking up when I read through the drama triangle. But what if I read through it and I didn't see myself in any of those three things? Is that okay?
Yeah, but I would challenge you to go ask your sister how she sees you showing up.
I will. I promise.
Because I guarantee you have a default rule. Otherwise, you'd probably be the Dalai Lama at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe you are. But
So,
hey, we all have one. I have two that I default to really quickly. So,
really?
no, absolutely. And it's an unconscious pattern. We've been taught as children about how to play a role and make meaning of the world and our identity in it.
So, Nate, okay, so
I know what you are already.
what was that?
I know what you are.
Okay.
Your default role, you want me to say it?
Yeah.
It's a rescuer.
Okay, that was number 3 on your list. Yes, that was one of the 3.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, like your default role is to go and help people. And for those people watching this, it's a much deeper conversation than one we're having. It's about the roles we play in an unconscious state. None of them are bad or good. None of them. It's just an unconscious role, and to bring consciousness to the role we're playing and how we make meaning of dynamics.
Yeah, and you know what, even like the drama triangle, there's one about being a victim. And I mean, there's people who live as victim mentality. Yes. I think we're all victims of certain specific situations. So I don't know what I was thinking when I said this at the beginning. I don't think I'm in any of them because I know I am a victim of certain situations.
We all.
But then how am I going to grow from that, perceive myself on the on the outside when I'm, how's that gonna look?
Right.
And then your first one was kind of like a fault finder.
The default finder.
Default finder. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, hey, Jill, this has been fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I know we can just go on for hours, but you are so stinking busy right now in a very great way. I don't even like to use the word busy. Actually, you're just being super productive with your book coming out, which it came out a week ago. Everybody, you'll have all the information on my Facebook Live. And I'm giving a book away for the first person who describes one of their stories and one of the tools that they have just listened to today, learned from, and what they're going to do. And I will send you guys a free book. And congratulations, Jennifer. This has been a
Thank
long
you.
time waiting, and you so deserve it. And I so appreciate that you spent this time with us today.
Oh, my pleasure, my joy. I love our community. I love our community. So
You know, we're so blessed, right?
we are. So go out there
Okay.
and bridge gaps, people. How you show up matters. And Jill, thanks for showing up so beautifully with me. You gave me
Thank
so much warmth.
you. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Bye.